Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we are back on the map Gas Bag Grabbins, I think it is. Wherever the name is gone, somewhere in the corner. There we go. Grabbins. We have two legends today, Raghna versus rAndy. And when we look over at Raghna, playing as Cortex today in red, and rAndy is playing Armada in blue today. Bigger next mechs is near the mid, but quite a lot of metal spots at home too. Exactly. This map is a bit interesting. It does seem to be the meta is more favoring the spawn point here that is close to the geo, due to the fact that you can actually place some construction turrets up here on this hill that can reach both your base and the area over here for the geo. So rAndy picking the more advantageous start position, but Raghna at the bottom here, giving him a... I'd argue that it's a easier to defend position, because if your base is here and you're here and your opponent has control of this high ground, even that part of the high ground, your base is in extreme danger. Whereas obviously when we flip it around, this start position here doesn't really, oh, see, actually this one doesn't really have much to worry about. Something that's ranged up here is not going to be able to reach that start position, so it should be a fairly safe start position. Now it does mean Raghna's going to be able to get units out to the middle pretty quickly and at least get this section and this section relatively easy. But the geo point and this up here is going to be a bit further away for Raghna to deal with. So we'll see. Now this match did take place a little while ago. So I believe it was before... Season 2. So just bear in mind that when we look at the grunt changes here are not going to be quite the same. Now, will the tick get the wind? Nope, because Raghna already has a construction turret up and running that manages to get eaten. Having a bit of a problem here with traffic jam, as his construction bots got in the way of his commander, and his commander actually can't get out, having to reclaim the metal extractor there in order to actually get out. So frustrated with it, he's just like, screw it, I'm gonna bloody degun the damn thing. And that will have put the time for Raghna behind by at least 30 seconds. All that microing that's had to do to move stuff around, and it's just a bit of hassle that he did not need. Now Raghna going for a defensive start here with the grunts, just positioning them out around him, this grunt here especially, assisting these two construction bots. But we can see when we look at the comparison here, rAndy's already there. He's already got 2 of the metal points, moving on to the 3rd, and Raghna's only just got 1 so far. Now, technically, these two combined build power of, let's see, 85, so is nowhere near still the same as the commander. So it's still going to be falling behind build power wise. So rAndy can, in theory, outpace here. The difference is obviously armed metal extractors are able to be built here by the construction bots, which is big. It's going to save the production on an LLT. Now, first early attack here from Raghna, but we're seeing a very early Centurion out. Perfect for dealing with grunts here. But obviously takes some time to get into position, and we can see this Centurion doing a tremendous job at dealing with 3 grunts and barely taking a point of damage. Meanwhile, another grunt lost. They're just trying to get into that base, but rAndy has so many LLTs, it's basically pointless. And he does see a little bit of the base there in the end. So he knows where the base is, which is probably the most important part. And these ticks here have just been left as little scouts for expansion. So he knows when Raghna gets to those further points. Now, If you didn't see this match before on the map, it's a very interesting one. Obviously, the start positions are extremely metal dense. Huge amount of metal to be had. And also, you can see they're all like 2.8. So like 3 metal on each one is quite big. Now, Commander into Centurion. Oh, the D-gun. That Centurion did not stand a chance. But that's quite a big loss. Centurions are quite expensive to build. So when it comes to amount of units and like resources put into it, that's a big loss. 270 metal, 3,100 energy. That energy requirement is huge. Not only this though, but with Raghna's start position here, he gets access to this geo as well as the one over the hill. Whereas obviously for Raghna, this is pretty much not going to happen. He's not really going to be able to control both of those. But sorry, going back to speaking about the map. Right, as you see, high ground along here. There's quite an advantageous raised position for plasma-based units. And up here, you can see just how much of a hill that is. And as we select this unit and press F2, see transversability, you can see they get up fairly well. But pressing F1, you can see the height map here and just see how many layers it is up. It's a huge raise. Now, Raghna in a little bit of a problem here. He's got 5-6 maces on their way, even more coming. He is rushing out here another bot lab right on his front line up on this hill. Now, this is a tremendous position. If he is able to hold and control this, he's going to be able to put a lot of pressure on Randy's base here. And pretty safe for him as well. Plasma up on this hill is going to rain down with extra range. But Raghna is having some problems contesting the middle here. Not quite enough grunts. Centurion on its way down as well to regroup with those is going to make very, very short work. We can see that Randy's commander here also making his way up to the top. So yeah, not going great for him so far. This Resbot is also going to get caught out and destroyed. Yeah. Oh, and 2 construction bots. Raghna, pull them back. Notices at the very last second. But this armed exploiter that's being built at the top here will not really accomplish anything. And these 2 construction bots are going to get killed. Now, when there aren't Centurions around, the Grunts are able to do a substantial amount. But with that Centurion in that mix of the forces up here, it's going to be pretty difficult for Raghna. Now, Raghna needs to apply some pressure himself, which he is starting to do with his own thugs. As he pushes down into the middle. His idea now is to just get into this line here and just stop the reinforcement wave. If he can apply pressure on the base, Randy will have to pull back his forces or basically risk a base race. And this Centurion just doing all the work, killing loads of grunts. And we can just see how many units there are now. 21 units total. 14 maces, and it does look like Randy is deciding to just go for it. Gunship's also now out from Randy here. Beamer's doing tremendous work though, and they are shutting down those thugs pretty quickly. Also big amount of gunships here. Great D-guns from Raghna. Not many people realize, but you can actually D-gun air units. But this is pretty much Raghna's all or nothing. He needs to get in here now with Randy making such a big push. But that is... Oh my goodness. Commander down to 19% health. Manages to just get the Beamer in time, but there is no AA at all. Raghna trying to get the perfect angle here for a D-gun on that air, but doesn't end up needing it. And there is another beamer. The question is, does he have enough forces? There is reinforcement units a bit further back, but it's only a matter of time until these forces over here make it to his base. Raghna's commander, extremely low health, only 17%, 698 health total right now. And he desperately needs to put a nail in the coffin of Randy, sorry. Trying to get some flanking damage off with the grunts here. But this looks like it could be the end already for Raghna. Losing all of this is going to have a huge impact on his economy. You can see him just pushing out more and more units as quick as he can. And surprisingly, though, not going for the base whatsoever. There is way too many beamers now to really push in effectively. And it just seems like he's trying to focus on getting the expansion killed. Just too many beamers. Meanwhile, on the top here, Randy just building a wall of LLTs. And interestingly enough, we can literally see the maps like split down the middle almost. Of the complete north side owned by Randy and the south side controlled by Raghna. And the problem for Raghna here is that, well, he's just lost so much territory. He did do a good push on Raghna and a lot of those, Randy, and a lot of those forces Raghna was able to kill. So if he can keep the reclaim, that's a lot to be had. Also, he did get a lot of the reclaim that was here, Raghna. Oh, interesting. Building an agitator very close to the front line here. He does have a ridiculous amount of metal saved up. And this will just completely destroy Randy's base. Going for a second one. Now, with the changes to these on trajectory, it has made a huge difference. They no longer just aimlessly shoot stupidly anymore. Grunt's doing a tremendous job here, taking out those beamers. But they won't not last very long there. Now, the big question is here is how much damage is this going to be able to do against the base? Too much build power, it seems, to make too much of an impact. And a counter artillery going up as well. Meanwhile, gunships making their way around, trying to cause damage. Not really enough AA been built just yet by Raghna. This isn't all too important though, because what matters right now is how much damage can these artilleries do to each other, as both players now with static artilleries, and they are bombing the base into oblivion. And the first actual base damage here going to well, Randy losing a base. And this is a huge amount of damage to be taken. A lot of energy production getting killed. Not only that, but the maces that are here are also getting hit by the artillery. And what is the range left on them? Unfortunately, not really able to get much further in here, but getting a lot of build power killed. And all of the metal extractors that were there. There's too many beamers for these guys to make any more of an impact. But they've still done their job. And although at the same time there's a good group here and not really any forces to stop them. Oh, and Raghna, knowing that, ends up calling the GG. So a very quick game today. Randy kind of ran away with it quite well, but you can see metal used. They were both very close. Metal produced again, even though Raghna lost quite a lot of territory, he wasn't that far behind. But when it comes to damage dealt, you can just see the consistent damage being dealt to Raghna over a long period of time was just not enough for Raghna to keep up with. But good game, both players. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.